Hey guys, welcome back to the LandCo vlog. Today we're going to do something a little different, cover something a little different. The most common question we get here from people that watch these vlogs are, what gear do you use? What cameras do you have to get the content to make these vlogs? And I've never covered that or talked about it because I didn't see the relevance or the value to our clients. But I think I may have missed something there in that the biggest complaint that internally we have when we get a new listing is that we always wish we had more content. So like if a guy comes to us and asked us to sell his waterfowl farm in March. Cool, we will do the best job we can, but man, it'd be nice to have some waterfowl footage. It'd be nice to have some goose footage or duck footage, and we just have to go without it. So what I think I may have missed is that it does bring some value to landowners who may one day sell their farm or move into a different farm to start collecting some of this content, because when you do go to sell that farm, that content is of great value. It may not increase the value of your farm, tremendously, but it captures people's interest, and which usually results in a shorter time on the market. So there is value there that I hadn't correlated. So today we're going to cover what we use from the start to now, what we've kind of migrated to, and then what I would recommend to landowners, because they're all three a little different. So I will hop right in. When we started, I researched everything to death, okay? And looking back, it didn't matter nearly as much as I thought it did. But we started with two Sony a6500 mirrorless crop sensor cameras, okay? That's what I'm recording it on. We have another one here, and they are awesome. Like, I have had no desire to upgrade in the past 3 years. Autofocus is fast. They're crop sensor, not a full frame. We won't get into too much technical stuff, but like it allows it to be smaller. The lenses are cheaper. So I have had nothing but good experiences with this. That being said, towards the tail end, I'll tell you why I don't necessarily recommend this and some of this stuff, but we still use this. It's awesome, okay? The lens that we use the most on the stuff that you're seeing on these vlogs is what I'm recording this on. It's the 10 to 18 millimeter f4 lens. Again, we won't get into too much technical detail, but the smaller number on the focal length is a wider shot. The larger number is long and narrow, telephoto stuff. So like this is I think I have this on 12 millimeter. It makes it look nice and wide. This room is only, I think, 18 foot wide. Okay, so you can see how wide it gets. We use it for interviews, for landscape stuff, for just kind of following people and getting a bunch in the background. We use it for a ton, okay? This lens we used to use a lot. I give this to the double-click farm manager because it does a little bit of everything. It's a f4 18 to 105. So it picks up where that one leaves off. So that one's 10 to 18. This one's 18 to 105. So it still gets pretty wide. So you can still do a bunch of like the interview and the wide angle stuff. But then it reaches out to 105, which I should have mentioned on this. It's a crop sensor. So it's like effectively 1.5 times whatever the number is. So like 105 or somewhere in the 150 range. So you can reach out and get some cool like footage from duck hunters bringing ducks back, or we've used it on upland hunts. So if I could only get one lens that was doing this, it would be this, okay? Because you can just do everything with it. This lens we still use a lot. This is our telephoto lens. It's 70 to 200. Again, with the crop sensor, it means it's like 100 to 300, somewhere in that range. We bought the nicest one because I thought we needed like the best footage in the world. This is the G Master. It's the only full frame lens we have. It was $2,600. You do not need this, okay? Don't need it. You could find much cheaper lenses that for what we need as brokers, totally fine, okay? You don't need the cinematic blurred background. It's nice to have all that cool stuff, but like you just need real life content, okay? One other lens that we have that obviously don't use very much because I have no idea where it is the 35 millimeter 1.8. It's kind of a cinema lens. It gives you that nice out of focus background. We use it for like interviews, stuff like that, but not very often. It's cool. It has cool footage, but in a real life scenario, like it's just not something that you need. So we don't have that. We used to use this, which is a Zine Tech Crane gimbal. We put this little thing mounts on it, change lenses, and it gives you nice smooth footage. Okay. We don't use it anymore, and I'll show you why in a little bit. Doesn't matter, I would not recommend it. I don't think you need it. if you're producing like a TV quality hunting show, you might have that to follow hunters to the stand or whatever, but you don't need that. Okay, that is the stuff that we used to start our vlog 3 or 4 years ago. All still really good stuff. The problem is it all takes a lot of effort. Switching lenses, a lot of gear in your bag. So here's what we've migrated to a little more, and where I start recommending some of the stuff to my clients, because if you find it fun and you want some of the stuff, cool, do it. But having the stuff and it being a pain to get footage and you're not getting any is a waste of time and money. So that's why I don't recommend it to most people. Drone. We used to have the big fancy Inspire ones. The truth is that like these consumer grade drones and cameras are getting so good that that gap is shrinking. This is a Mavic Air. It folds up. I can literally slip it in my bag. Small. It does 4K footage. Most people don't know the difference between this and an Inspire one. $1,000 with 2 or 3 batteries. Great footage, easy to fly, okay? It's not super applicable to landowners because this is more of like a, get 400 feet up and get a big feel for your farm sort of deal. And whatever broker you hire can do that. They all have something similar. The only time where it might be kind of cool to have one as a landowner is like in the waterfowl world. If you're holding a bunch of ducks or geese, fly the thing over to get a big view, like overhead panning view of how many birds are there. That's super cool. So in that instance, it'd be of value. Getting footage in different times of the year is cool. They have some in the fall, some in the spring. So in that sense, it could have some value, but if you don't have one of these, and you're a landowner, no big deal. It's not, a broker could come and do what he needs with his drone, okay? This is what we've migrated to for a lot of our footage to replace this. And again, this is a consumer level. This is called a DJI Pocket Osmo, and it's like a motorized gimbal. This thing does 4K. I think it's even the same sensors on this drone, so the footage is very similar, which, you're not doing a bunch of color correcting, but it gives you nice, steady footage. It does 4K. It's just, in more than anything, like it fits in your pocket. So it's easy. You keep this in your pocket, you go fishing, somebody catches one, you pull it out, record 10 seconds of that. Or you go waterfowl hunting and somebody's bringing back some birds, record 15, 20 seconds of it. The best footage that there is the stuff you get. And with this, you get a lot of usable footage. So love this thing. Phone. At the very least, people overlook this. At the very least, these phones record awesome footage now. 4K, it's pretty stable. So if you have nothing else and you're in the boat or deer hunting or whatever and something cool is happening, slide it to video. Most people take pictures, but in terms of selling a property, slide it to video, take a 10-second video and save it. It's as simple as that. This is highly overlooked. So we don't personally do much stuff with this yet for our vlogs. I would say 50% comes from this Pocket Osmo. 25% is still from this, just to kind of give it an overhead kind of overarching feel. And then we still use this for probably 25%. Okay. You might notice too that the GoPro's not here. We do have a GoPro, but honestly, we just don't use it anymore. Sometimes we'll throw it on like the tractor or the Bobcat or the Gator through a trail to get some kind of cool footage. But in terms of content for like a landowner, not that much value there that we see. Sometimes you can throw it outside your blind waterfowl hunting and get some kill shots, but even those are such a wide angle, they're not that great. On a boat, it's okay, but I'd much rather have 15 seconds of good footage than 2 hours that I can only use 2 minutes of. Okay, so GoPros are cool if you find them fun. We don't use them that much. Okay, so to summarize, what I would recommend to a landowner to start collecting content, so when it comes time to sell a farm, you have a bunch of that content to make the broker's life easier. Pocket Osmo. The best content is the content you get. And with this, you can get a lot because it's so convenient. Slide it in your pocket, take it everywhere you go on your farm. If somebody catches a fish or they're bringing birds back to the blind or walking up on a deer they've harvested, turn this baby on and get 10 or 15 second clips. Get a big SD card. You don't have to check it that often. Just pile up the footage on this baby. records incredible footage.
I'm going to the excavator.
The excavator?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey crew, what do you want to do?
I want to go see
Crew.
I want to go see the excavator.
You do?
Yeah.
If you don't have one of those, use your phone. Like iPhones these days produce incredible videos, 4K, pretty good stabilization. So if you have nothing else, you have your phone, switch it to video mode, get some content that way. Trail camera. Throw it on picture mode until you're on a good deer or kind of a bunch of ducks or whatever it is, and then switch it over to video mode and get some cool videos that way. The one thing that we don't have that I do recommend to clients is a point and shoot. So it's kind of like a consumer version of a interchangeable lens system. You don't have to change lenses. Something like the Sony RX100, super fast autofocus. I think it's like $1,000, 4K from like 24 to 200. So effectively you're getting like both of these lenses in one, but you don't ever have to change any lenses. Okay, and it's literally like the size of a phone. So phone, if you want to upgrade, go to Pocket Osmo, get a trail camera, and if you want to upgrade a little bit more, get a point and shoot, something like the Sony RX100. The rest of this stuff, really cool. We don't recommend it unless like you find it fun. Like if it's enjoyable, you do it, because the problem is with this stuff, if you're not set up to shoot, you're not going to get any content. So like when I go waterfowl hunting to hunt, I don't take this stuff. Like I'll take this. When I go to film, I take this, but then I don't get to hunt. So like this stuff is awesome, produces great content, but unless you specifically set out to go get content, you're not going to use this stuff. So unless you find it enjoyable, no use for that. Pocket Osmo, phone, trail camera, maybe something like a point and shoot that'll get you a little more reach out there to get some, whitetail footage or waterfowl footage. So that is it. I hope you guys found that valuable. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below, and I'll try to get to those as soon as possible. Otherwise, we appreciate you watching, and we'll be back at you shortly with another one.